here's another thing I wanted to bring up,
Uh-huh.
um, because you do all these testings and you go like you do. You've been to Son of Sam house. He sent you a letter.
So I'm friend with a comedian named Stephen Briggs in L.A.
Yeah.
and his father was friend with him. His father was friend with David Berkowitz.
Right.
And when Stephen wrote a letter, Berkowitz wrote back and said, "Oh yeah, I remember your father. We used to play basketball in '70s,
Right.
and we were trying to have him." Stephen wanted to do one man show where he's interacting with Son of Sam, but he stopped writing to us after third or fourth letter.
Why?
I don't know. He just stopped.
Yeah.
And I also met John Mohammed, the DC sniper. He used to live in
You met him?
he was living in Tacoma, Washington, because he was army in Fort Lewis. He used to come to my mother's Japanese buying. I know it sounds racist, but chicken teriyaki. You know, he's black and everything.
Yeah.
So he used to come in, and like I thought that shooting happened 20 years ago. I was like, I look at the picture, and like, wow, how much racist I think every black person. But I look at his background; it was him. He used to come to my mom's
Oh no
restaurant.
shit.
Yeah, and right now I'm working a project called 169 with my friend Mikey Slyman. He's a comedian in Vegas. His childhood friend was a guy named Joshua Nichols, and that name should mean anything to you. But Joshua Nichols is son of Terry Nichols. Do you recognize that name?
Mm-mm.
Terry Nichols was a friend of Timothy McVeigh. They bombed Oklahoma City. So we're doing a project with him, and we call it 169 because we also think Joshua is a victim. So 168 people died,
Mm-hmm.
and Joshua was 10 years old when his father got in trouble for Oklahoma City bombing. So ever since then, anytime he did anything, they call him son of Oklahoma City bombing.
Mm.
They kicked him out. He couldn't go back to school, and
Because of his father.
yeah.
Wow.
So in Hollywood, if your parents are star, you get all the unfair advantage.
Yeah.
And if your father is a serial killer or terrorist, you take all the burden. You have nothing to do with it. You take that burden.
Yeah.
It's a terrible when you have nothing to do with it, and
Now
people stop talking to you. He couldn't go back to school. So, but you couldn't find a kinder person, man.
yeah, that sucks.
But he's
That's
going.
an interesting. Is it a documentary?
We're working right now, and he's unfortunately he's going back to prison soon.
The nice guy?
Yeah, because he had a dispute. Well, don't look away. Don't look away. Don't
I
look.
thought you said he was a nice guy. What the fuck, dude? I'm picturing a blonde, beautiful young kid, or this guy who's just a nice guy. But what was he in prison for?
um, so somebody owed him a money, and he never learned. He never learned conflict resolution. So instead of asking money gently, he got in a fight and ended up, I guess, technically, if you want to call it kidnapping. So he got in trouble for
Oh my
that.
god! I mean, listen, dude. Fuck this kid.
And,
Listen,
and here's the thing, Bobby. So so because
I don't want to see this documentary anymore.
so because he's going to prison soon,
Yeah.
he's going to prison soon, and his father Terry Nichols been in Supermax in Florence, Colorado for
There'll be a family reunion.
they're able to talk. This is going to be their last time talking because Terry's kind of getting up there in age.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City bombing is coming up in 2 years, 30th anniversary. And once Josh go to prison, I don't think they're going to talk again. So
Right.
we record 5 conversations between the two. For probably going to be a last time,
Yeah.
And
You see if Lego will make a Oklahoma City building. For the 30th
I know some of
anniversary.
your sick fans going to make one.
Wow.
And you know what happened? One time,
Yeah. A bunch of people died because your fucking sick father's friend.
my friend Mikey
Yeah.
was friend with Joshua Nichols, and he also knew Terry Nichols as a
Yeah.
kid.
Right.
And when they were talking, so I think about a year ago, Terry Nichols, obviously the bomber, called Mikey and told him interesting story. He said, "Hey, by the way, I was talking about this project about yours,
Mm-hmm.
possibly documentary, possibly pod, and you know what? Ted want to talk to you guys.
Really?
And you know which Ted we're talking about?
Ted?
Ted Kaczynski, because they're in Supermax. It's
Wow.
in the Florence, Colorado. So this particular
Yeah.
cell row, um, one of them, which is the Boston bomber. He's the neighbor.
Yeah.
Ted Kaczynski and Terry Nichol. They call the Bombers Alley. All the bombers in this one particular part in Supermax in Florence,
Right.
Colorado. And I don't know how they talk to each other, but unless Terry Nichols was lying, he told Mikey and like Ted want to talk to him, which is interesting because 6 months before I heard about this, I went to Lincoln, Montana. I went to Ted Kaczynski's home. In the library, he used to do research to make bombs and stuff. So I hang out in Lincoln, Montana, too.
You do a lot of this stuff.
I've been most of it, yeah.
You like to go to the places these people were and sit down and be there. And
where they ate, where they went to school. I check all that. I just got back from Munich for Mohammed Atta, the leader of 9/11. I went to his school. I went to his apartment. I even went to Minneapolis where George Floyd got killed because George Floyd did porn. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't.
Yeah, so I consider him as a colleague, and
And
great performer, by the
you
way.
should consider the other guy who's going to prison as a colleague too,
Yeah.
because you both beat people up for shit.
So during the COVID, I went to all the MAGA rallies and BLM, right?
Right.
And it's
And
interesting.
they tried to kill you.
You know what's interesting, Bobby?
What?
When you hang out with MAGA people, I notice their big thing is MAGA people love big tits.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed.
Sure.
Because most MAGA people white, most of the white people come from Northern Europe. The primary diet of Northern Europe is dairy product.
Yeah,
but that's
milk and
dairy come
cheese.
from big tits. When you go to BLM movements, most of those people are Blacks and Latino. They come from South. That's why they love asses, So like
Yeah.
sometimes when you see like MAGA and BLM,
Yeah.
they're basically, to me, when I hear them argue, only thing I hear is like big tits, ass, right? But what's sad to me is if they're calm and talk to each other,
Yeah.
they have more common than different because they're fucking poor.
Yeah. Poor people.
Do you know who want them to fight each other?
Yeah.
It's the super rich people.
Exactly.
Super rich people are not into tits and ass.
No. What-
Not at all.
they're
If you
into-
go to any rich area,
they're
all
into
the women are tall,
Yeah.
skinny,
flat chest.
no tits, and no ass.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Epstein was fucking young girls because they have no tits and asses.
Sure.